Hi, Angel here, and you're watching The Stripe Show with Travis Fulton. 1, 2, 3.
Hey there, Travis Fulton here, episode 22 of The Stripe Show, live from Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. Got a big show coming up. 5, show us your swings, going tee to green. Let's go catch up with the crew, see what they're up to. This should be, this should be interesting. On our way to the first tee here. Oh boy, good grief. Lord help us. Guys, let's go.
We're ready for you. Yeah, we're ready. Let's do it. Let's go.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 22, how about that, of The Stripe Show. I am your host, Travis Fulton, back here live, Jacksonville Golf and Country Club here on the first tee. It's PGA Championship Week, the final major of the year. How about Justin Thomas winning the WGC Bridgestone Invitational just in time to defend his title at the PGA. So many great storylines going into that tournament. Today on The Stripe Show, action-packed show. We're going strokes gained, tee to green. That's right, strokes gained. We hear that stat all of the time. How do I gain strokes to my playing partners, to my field? Well, I've got you covered. We're going tee to green today, strokes gained. We got 5. Show us your swings. We're going to use those show us your swings to take us right down from the tee all the way to the green. Our first show us your swing is Joe, and we're going to talk about the driver. Let's go. Thanks for the video here. I like the swing. I think where I could help you is at address. And one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a neutral grip. And I think just watching that will help a little bit. I can't really see your grip and face on here, but I want to make sure that your grip is good. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we don't have this big difference between the right arm and the club shaft. See how your right arm is very vertical and on a much different angle than the club shaft. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the shaft just a little bit more upright, just above the belt buckle, and then I'm going to soften your right forearm a little bit. So I'll show you how to do that. And then I think as we kind of clean the grip and that alignment up, then we can get the shoulders, hips, knees, everything to kind of get a little bit more square. I feel like your shoulders are open, your feet are off to the right. And I think just by getting that all cleaned up at address, some grip, some forearm shaft alignments, we'll talk spine angle a little bit. I think it's going to be a nice foundation for you to just work that golf swing from, because you got a good swing. You bring the club down on a good plane. You're turning through nicely. So I think really fundamentally at address, grip, posture, alignment can really help you out. So here we go. I'm going to give you some fundamentals to follow at address. All right. Hey, Joe, good stuff. I got some things for you here, and we're going to talk about some fundamentals at address, right? This week, Stripe Show, it's about strokes gained. We're starting off the tee, and to gain strokes over my 19 years of teaching, the fundamentals at address can help you and so many others that are out there. So I want to show you how to set up to this here. The first thing, Joe, I want to make sure with your grip, actually come in here, Justin, real quick. We're going to talk about this grip here, this lead hand. Just make sure it's over here to the right a little bit, and then shorten up that thumb. I like that short thumb. Don't go there. Kind of shorten it up a little bit, and then that right hand comes into the side and covers it like that. I like that grip. That's a neutral grip. And that short thumb, both hands really help keep the grip more in the fingers and will help hinge the wrists and, of course, square the club face up. So we've got the hands over here to the right a little bit. Now, from there, what I want you to do, we're going to go to target line here. We're going to set up, and I want you to feel like when you bow forward, okay, from the hips, I want the shaft to feel like it comes up a little bit, and then your right forearm, the trail forearm, softens a little bit, okay? So you can see how my right forearm is softer and kind of more on the same plane as the shaft and not so dominant this way.
right? So you have the handle pretty low, and then that right forearm gets very, very dominant on top, and we have a pretty severe angle there. Not the end of the world, but I think when you're trying to improve the probability of things, bringing this up a little bit, you'll feel that lead wrist kind of unhinge. Let's go back to face on here for a second. That lead wrist almost feels like it kind of unhinges that way versus so much down that way. Okay, so we kind of level that out. That brings the shaft more upright. And then now this forearm can soften a little bit. Okay, so I like that dynamic for you from the target line. Not this, but this, all right? So we bow forward, got a good grip, right forearm softer. And then from there, back to face on, you'll see ball position forward. And then that, of course, that spine, as we talk about, just a little bit of tilt looking back here to the right. Those fundamentals, grip, posture, and of course down here now, alignment. Okay, as I aim the face, and we go back to the target line, as you start doing this stuff, what you're gonna see is your shoulders will start to square up. You start to see a little piece of this left forearm versus so much like this. So I think your shoulders and your hips and everything will start to get a little bit more on the square side versus maybe going in all different directions. So I like that for you. Work on your grip. We're trying to improve strokes gained, short thumbs. That's number one. Number two, let's get that right forearm softer, more on plane. And then number three, we start to square up the shoulders a little bit with the hips and the feet. And all of that starts to set you up for success. The fundamentals at address. The first step to strokes gained off the tee, and I think that's going to help you, Joe. Thanks so much. Time for Show Us Your Swing number 2, Arthur.
All right, Arthur. Hey, good stuff here with the driver. Awesome setup. Don't be afraid to let your feet flare just a little bit. You're pretty straight ahead with the toes. You want to flare them out a little, go ahead and do that. Now, as you go back, you have good width here early. Look at your hands out away from the body. Right elbow folding nicely. Great shoulder turn. I think my advice to you as you turn to the top is kind of unweight this lead foot a little bit more. And what I mean by that, let the belt buckle kind of trace a little bit more over towards the right heel. If anything here, you look a little kind of centered up here with the belt buckle. And I think you would benefit a little bit more if we could get you to kind of trace the belt buckle a little bit more to the right, get a little more pressure down into that right side. The reason I say that is you come down, you probably get a little ahead of it right here, upper body, maybe goes a little bit to the left, and then maybe you get a little kind of bottled up here through impact with the arms and hands from time to time. But this is a good swing. You have a lot of really good things. Make a great shoulder turn. As you come down, really good lower body work. Like how you kind of push up and rotate through the strike. I really think getting you to kind of unweight the lead foot a little bit where you get a little more loaded into the right side. And then from there, I want to show you how to kind of stay behind it just a little bit through impact. And I think that'll improve the probability of squaring that face up. Here it comes.
All right, Arthur, hey, really good swing. I've got something for you that I think is going to give you a little more power and a little more accuracy. Who doesn't want more power and accuracy with the driver? And it's good here with the theme of our show here this week, strokes gained, because this is something that I think can help all of you at home when you look at how the belt buckle traces in the backswing. So Arthur, good setup. I like it. A little bit of side bend to the right. We talk about that with the driver here. You make a great turn to the top as well. Your belt buckle, everything kind of stays a little bit neutral, say right where it started here. One thing to consider, when you set up and then you take it back, take the belt buckle and then trace it a little bit towards the right heel. See that little a la Henrik Stenson? Okay, so here we go again. Good setup, and then I trace a little. I trace a little. Once I trace a little bit over here to the right heel, then I turn and I feel a little bit more loaded up on the right foot. We kind of unweight that lead foot a little bit. Now, what does that do? Well, it gets us a little bit more loaded up. It gets us a little bit more time to kind of shift and turn and get out of the way. at impact, which is going to allow you to kind of structure your arms and hands better. Now I got a good drill for you. Come over here. And again, this is something that is, I think, good advice for so many of you at home. You take a stick, you put it right up the right leg here. We get our setup, and then what I'm doing, I'm going to trace a little. I'm just going to trace a little bit into that post, right? You can see how my hip's starting off of it. My foot down there is on it. I got a little space here, and then I'm just going to trace into it, and then I'm going to turn and stay right on it. Okay, now what this doesn't mean is it's not a sway. Okay, that's not what we're after here, right? I'm not going like this. I'm just feeling the belt buckle, the pelvis kind of move a little towards the right heel, and then when I turn, I feel like I'm stacked right there on my right leg, just inside that post. See that hip? Right on it. Not spinning away from it, but right on it, okay? So I like that. It's gonna get you loaded up, more power, but I also think it leads to accuracy for so many because it gives you more time when you come down to turn and get out of the way. And the final thing for you, Arthur, is when you swing through, go ahead and give it a little extension in the spine. It's that little dish right here. Okay, don't hang out this way, down. Feel like you have a little extension, a little bit of this movement through impact, and I think you'll feel like your arms can kind of swing out, extend, you'll have better structure. So here we go, good setup. Strokes gained, off the tee. First, we've got our good fundamentals. Second, we're going to trace, get a little more loaded up, and then we're going to extend through. And I think that might be the best drive I've hit all year right there, Justin. Look at that. Hasn't landed yet. Now it did. I like that. I'm going to implement that a little bit into my game. Good start here at the Stripe Show. Joe fundamentals, Arthur tracing, getting loaded up, strokes gained off the tee. It's time to go to the fairway, but before we do that, check out this week's 18 Birdies app feature.
Hey guys, Randy here from 18 Birdies, and I want to talk to you about Dream Games, our one-of-a-kind loyalty program that rewards you just for playing golf with 18 Birdies. Even if you haven't played golf with us yet, we still start you off with 20 golf bucks, which you can spend for chances to win prizes or dream golf experiences. Golf bucks are earned by playing golf, adding friends, and more. Now let's show you how to play Dream Games. Start by going into Marketplace and tapping the Dream Games banner at the top. From here, all you need to do is tap Scratch to win to get your first scratch card. Next, tap Scratch Now. Bam! You've now successfully scratched your first card. You can scratch multiple times per day to win amazing prizes and a chance to win the grand prize for the month. Find out all the ways you can earn golf bucks by going back to the Dream Games page and tapping on your balance in the bottom left-hand corner. Then tap More Ways to Earn Golf Bucks. Happy scratching!
Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. 302. One of my best drives of the year. Little iron game here next, but before we get to that, the 18 Birdies app feature. One of the things that I love the most about 18 Birdies, the Dream Game. They're sending people all over the place every single month. All you gotta do is play golf, and you accumulate points, and you have a chance to win. And you know what the prize is for this month? They're sending you to the 2019 PGA Championship. I love the Dream Games. Congratulations to whoever wins that. All right, time for Show Us Your Swing. I got to hit this shot here after that big drive, but first, check out Michael.
Hey, Michael, thanks so much for the video. Lots of good stuff in your swing, and I want to point out a couple of those things here. The first thing is, you can see as you take it back, you get the club in a very good position at the top here. I love the flat left wrist. I love the right elbow position, kind of pinching the left. Good turn in the right hip. You've been following my Instagram page. You got a lot of good stuff going on there. I love this club here as it comes down, tacking it from the inside. Probably hit your share of nice little push draws, right? Ball starts out to the right and then draws back to the left. Now, you're probably a candidate that can rotate through impact, add some of that. To do that, I'm going to scooch it a little closer. Okay, you can see that toe line there, that red line. See, your collar's a little right of that line. I'm going to get your collar more on that line. So I'm going to scooch you in a little bit. And then as you come down, what I want to show you is I want to show you how to get a little bit more open at impact here. Get this left hip, left shoulder more out of the way so the club can exit a little bit lower and I think decrease the amount of face rotation through impact. But you got a lot of good things going on. You're a candidate for more rotation through impact. Here it comes.
All right, Michael, you are a candidate for more rotation through impact. But before we can rotate, I want to show you a little balance point here first that I think will help. And we're going to go to the target line for this. Right now, when you set up, I think you're just a little too far from it. And then you get a little top heavy this way where the collar, the back of the collar gets a little bit outside of the toe line. So go ahead and scoot in a little bit. Right? Let the hips kind of push up underneath you just a bit. And then that collar will get a little bit more on the toe line. And this is going to help you rotate. Now, before we get to rotation, I'm going to introduce our next Show Us Your Swing. This is Trey, and you guys are in very similar positions. So I want to tie these two together. So hang tight, check out Trey for a minute.
All right, Trey. Hey, good stuff here. A lot of positives in your swing here, and particularly as you take it back here. Look at the club face. Really good there. Toe slightly down. I like that. As you get to the top, look at the wrist hinge here. Good stuff. Like how that club is pointing out in front of you. Nice structure there to the top of the swing. Biggest thing here is when you come down, the club's going to kind of fall in behind you a little bit here. So I'll stop it at parallel. See how the club head at this point, when the shaft gets parallel, that club head is back behind the hands, right? So what's happening here, this swing direction here is working a fair amount to the right. So as you come into impact and then you swing through to that little higher exit, that swing direction is working out to the right. Now, I think you're a candidate here to kind of get the swing direction probably working a little bit more to the left. So when we come down here, what I want to do is I'm going to get that club head, or that shaft rather, to be a little bit more on this line here, this stick on the ground. And we're going to get this left shoulder, instead of working up this way, we're going to get it to work a little bit more down and around this way. So when you come into impact, you'll be a little bit more open, and that'll allow the shaft to kind of exit a little bit lower through the strike. And I think that'll help you here. You got a lot of good swings, probably hit a lot of push draws, but I think getting the club in a little better position coming down and the left shoulder working more down and around will really help the strike. Here it comes.
All right, Trey, thanks so much for the video. I want to tie Trey and Michael together. They're candidates for more rotation through impact. Keeping our theme here of strokes gained. Talked about the T-ball, right? Fundamentals at address. Then we started the trace, get loaded up for more power and accuracy. Now we're here in the iron game. We need some precision, right? So we can hit more greens, closer proximity, and rotation in the body can help that. In particularly when you've got the club face in a square to slightly closed position like Michael and Trey do. So when you look at the target line view and you look at their club face, you know, the club face is kind of in this position here. And then we're seeing the club face kind of look a little bit more up to the sky at the top. I like that. And both of them have learned how to swing it down from the inside to a little higher exit on the other side. And I promise you, they're both hitting some push draws, beautiful draws, right? And you're probably thinking at home, I'd like to hit a draw. Well, the progression of that for so many is to get that club face prepared first. Get the face more square. A lot of you open the face, okay? Up at the top, get the club face looking more to the sky. Don't let the toe hang like that, right? Get the face prepared. It really sets the stage for an inside track, high exit, and then you start to get that little bit of a push draw. Now, as you do that, now we're ready to start to rotate. So how do we rotate, right? So here's what I want to pass along to you guys. When you come down, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to feel like the belt buckle starts to push back a little bit. Okay, you can see in Michael's swing, his belt buckle wants to ride in this way. So we've got to get a little sit, right? Think about a squat. Back to face on here for a second. Look at here, I've got the squat bar. I'm going to sit. I'm going to squat down, right? See the belt buckle kind of pushing down, back towards my heel. I certainly wouldn't come in here like this because I would lose my balance, all right? So we're going to get a little sit. We're going to feel the hips kind of pushing back. As that happens, I want to see the left shoulder and the left hip start to work a little bit more down and around. See that? I'm exaggerating a little bit. Not this way, okay? Don't launch. Sit it down, left hip, left shoulder, down and around. See how much lower that is? And for you, Trey, you saw from the target line view, when you would swing through, that left shoulder really high, okay? That left shoulder would get really high like this. Club would exit. Very difficult to rotate when we're hanging back like this. So we sit it down, we start to get the left shoulder, left hip working around, and that's gonna allow that lower exit right around over here. Look at this target line here for a second. We don't see the club exit up here, but we're gonna start seeing the club exit more around over here. And you can see the final thing here from the target line view, the shaft starts to kind of get back down out here more on the target line, right? It doesn't kind of trail in behind like this. You can see it starting to get back out here, left shoulder, left hip, working down and around to that lower exit. More rotation, and with your club face, stabilizes things, and I think is going to allow you to hit some very solid iron shots that have little curve and will help you at home gain some strokes. All right, good stuff. I hope you enjoyed that, tying those two together. More rotation, strokes gain from the fairway, approaching the green. It's time to move on, but before we do that, you're like, man, I want to get involved. I want Travis to look at my swing. How do we do that? Well, check it out. Hey there, Travis Fulton here with the Stripe Show. You want to get involved? What's on your mind? Send me a question, tweet it to @18Birdies app, or email it to the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com. But perhaps you really need some help. I want you to send me a video, and in that video, I want you to tell me what the tendencies are with your ball flight so I can help you. Film your swing from face on, where you're looking at me just like this, or the target line. One of these two angles is what I need to see to give you some good feedback. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna make you a deal. I'm gonna show you my swing. Now, I want you to show us your swing. It's that easy. That's how you get involved. All you gotta do is film your swing, send it to the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com, and we will put you on. Good info, get you moving in the right direction. In fact, we got show us your swing number 5. You know what, Justin? I'm in the giving mood right now. I feel good. I'm hitting the ball good. We're up here right by the green. Strokes gain. We talked about strokes gain off the tee. Strokes gain in the fairway. Iron play into the green. Well, we're around the green. We got to save some strokes around here. Let's get into a little bonus coverage. I got my 56. I'm just off the green here. And I want to hit this little low skipper in there, right? That kind of that medium trajectory that's got a little to it when it gets up there. So what I'm going to do, take my 56. I've got my, well, hold on a second. Got to clean your grooves. Look at this. Good grief. Yeah, you got to clean those, right? That helps. You got to get everything out of there. That friction is key when we're trying to get that ball to spin. Club face slightly open. I'm playing the ball just pretty much right in the middle. Okay, sternum's right on top of it. Weight slightly left. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a little swivel here in the wrist. A little swivel. All right, my wrist kind of goes this way a little and that way a little. Right? Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to swing my arms way back. Okay, I'm going to try to get the club head to travel a little bit with the lead wrist, kind of swiveling it back. If you look from the target line, you'll see how the club head still kind of stays, you know, right in there, right? It doesn't mean I'm going like this. Okay, I'm just trying to swivel that club head back. That face rotates a little open, right? That's okay here. Face rotates open. And then from there, as it comes down, I'm going to give it a little tight acceleration with the chest. And I'm going to try to just get the butt of the club to kind of park right here off my hip. Okay, so we call that a little bit of a kind of short finish, right? Not a long finish, right? And you can see the handle's not moving much. Look at the handle here. The handle's kind of staying there to there. Look at that. Real tight orbit, right? It's not way out here or up here. and it's not way out here, right? It's not pushed out, it's not wider, it's a little tighter orbit. Okay, and if we can do that, tight acceleration, we need some speed, we'll get that medium trajectory, and I'll have a little check on it. Ooh, there it is. One hop and there it is. I like that. That's a cool shot. A little swivel shot, a little tight orbit. Body creates some speed through impact. Good shot off these tight lies around the green. Give that a go and let me know how it works. All right, let's move on here. Time for Show Us Your Swing. Number 5, this one is Amanda.
Hey Amanda, Travis here. 14 years old, only playing 2.5 years. I'm very impressed with how you have built your swing. You really have a very good swing. And I wouldn't be changing a whole lot. You make a good turn back. You do a good job of returning the shaft a little forward at impact. Look at that. Fantastic. Rotating through, full release. Your golf swing really is right on the button. You need to keep doing what you're doing. My only advice to you is maybe take your spine just slightly, okay, and just tilt it slightly away from the target. Okay, so just a subtle tilt to the right, and then I think maybe even taking the bill of the cap and turning it just a little bit back here, so you're not looking up to that forward ball position. But your swing is spot on. Well done going back. Well done coming down into impact, into the finish position. So just a little bit of spine tilt. We turn the head just a touch. And then you know what? I've got something for you to consider with the short game. So watch this.
Hey Amanda, you're doing a great job with your swing. You've only been playing for 2 years and your swing looks like that. I'm not touching it. All I'm gonna say is 2 things. Add address, get your spine just a little bit behind it like that, okay? You could probably use just a little bit of tilt to the right at address. From there, wind that thing up, create speed, get stronger, more club head speed, and you're gonna be just fine with your swing. You're doing really good. If you got a coach, go tell that coach he's doing one heck of a job. So stay down that track, and I think your golf swing is gonna be great. Now, I'm gonna share with you something here on the putting green, right? Our theme here on the Stripe Show, strokes gained. We started on the tee, we got to the fairway, little short game shot, we're saving strokes. Now on the putting green. And you know, one of the areas is a major opportunity for strokes gained is to avoid 3-putt. 3-putt avoidance, that's a key stat. And I got a little concept for you. It's called 44. You practice 40-footers and 4-footers. 44. 40-footers, I got one here right now, and then we'll move up and we'll practice 40 or 4-footers. The concept here is be comfortable from 40 feet. You're not going to hit the ball close every single time. You've got to learn to be comfortable and efficient from 40 feet. And when I say 40 feet, that means 35, 30, 25, 45, 55, 60. But 40 feet is a good number. Be comfortable from there. Don't be mad that you're here. Be comfortable, lag it up there to 4 feet and move on. And of course, when I say 4 feet, that means 3, 2, 5, 6. 44, I like it. So here's a tip for you on a long putt. The first thing you get on these longer putts, be afraid to get your feet a little bit wider. From there, I want you to stretch out the frame, okay? I want the frame to be bigger on both sides. Use your shoulders, use your arms, but keep it consistent. Just stretch it out on both sides. I'm a fan of a little bit longer back, shorter through, but it's okay to be kind of that 1-to-1 ratio as well. From 10 feet, if your stroke looks something like this, 40 feet, you can see how it just incrementally got bigger on both sides, all right? So we're gonna smooth it out, bigger on both sides, and we're gonna be comfortable from 40 feet. So here we go. Got the line, I'm going to stretch it out. 1, 2. And I'm going to hit that putt up there. And there you go. You got to be comfortable from 40 feet. Practice this. Smooth it out. Get the stroke to be bigger incrementally on both sides. But you can see there that I didn't jab it, right? I didn't decelerate. I didn't have to go here and then boom. And I didn't have to go here and then put the brakes on. It was an even acceleration through impact. And I think that 2-to-1 ratio, a little further back, shorter through, tends to promote that. Something to consider from 40 feet. All right, let's come up here now. Tom, walk with me here. You hot, Tom?
Oh,
I mean, it's like 111 here right now in Florida. So we did 40 feet. Now here we are at 4 feet. You got to be good from 4 feet. Okay, you can see I lagged that up there just inside 4 feet. Now I got to knock this in. So my stroke's going to be a little bit shorter now, right? But still a little bit longer back than through. I like the idea here, stick to finish. Let the putter head swing through, boom, to a complete stop. Call it the catcher's mitt. That catcher's mitt is right there. It's going to catch it. Okay, so that putter head, even acceleration through, boom. And then we stick the finish. I love that from 4 feet, and it keeps you committed. There it is. 2-putt from 40 feet. 44, I like that. You got a good swing. Strokes gained on the green, around the green. Practice that. No 3-putts. With your swing, I like your chances. Thanks so much for sending in your video. It's time to conclude the show this week on the Stripe Show. We do it every single week. It's called 60-Second Swing Fix. All right, 60-second swing fix. We got a time?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. A little short game here, 60-second swing fix. Chipping, bump and run, 2 options. The first one, when you set up, if you lean the shaft in line with your lead arm, where that left wrist is flat, see that? Got a flat left wrist, butt of the club pointing just to the left hip. I'm going to hit a little bump and run like that. What you'll notice, that ball will come out very hot, very fast. Leading edge, a little bit more exposed. Now, a second option is you can take the shaft, set it more upright, lean it forward, not as much, but now the lead wrist is going to be a little bit more cupped because I'm going to take a putting grip. So that left wrist is a little bit more cupped. And with the left wrist a little bit more cupped, weight still left, back and through, that ball is going to come off a little bit softer, right? So I like those 2 options. One comes out a little faster. The other comes out a little bit softer. Try both of those and see which one works for you. Bump and run, minimum air, maximum roll. Got to get it up and down. Couple options to consider. All right, coming to a wrap here on the Stripe Show. I kind of want to keep going. You guys want to go home?
Yeah, kind of.
Too bad. We're going to keep going here. I've got a few more things to share with you. Let's take a little walk up the fairway here, Tom. All right, let's keep going here on the Stripe Show. I'm going to walk down this fairway. Justin, why don't you come with me?
All right.
And, you know, I remember when I was little, you just kind of walk down the fairway and look at this guy. Good grief. All right, let's keep going here, Tom.
Call somebody?
Yeah, a little nap time on the job. All right, so we would just walk down the fairway and just hit shots, like no target, and just like practice technique, and it would just free things up. So I'm going to set one here, Tom. Go ahead and square up with me here, face on. And like that little bump and run, for example, you know, just hit shots down the fairway where you could work on your technique and self-discover. That's something I talk about here a lot, you know, where, okay, maybe my spine's a little more left, my weight's a little bit more left, and then how does that make the interaction with the groundwork, right? There's little subtleties within the context of some of the things that we're sharing here with the Stripe Show, and then you take those components and you just hit shots, and sometimes walking down the fairway can help you self-discover.
Yeah, just kind of disassociate from the game and just kind of hit it.
That's right. That's right.
What about that swivel shot? I like that.
That little swivel shot?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so that little swivel shot, right? Sometimes even when you're just waiting for the group in front of you, you take your sand wedge, you know, find a little spot, right, and just hit these little shots, you know, to build confidence, right? Now, if you're in a tournament, you're not going to want to do that. But I remember taking a 56 and just kind of working down a fairway when no one was out here and just working on this little swivel shot. And if you remember, you know, we were just kind of hinging, swiveling the left wrist, and then turning and accelerating through. And again, how much shaft lean, ball position, right? The finish, just little things that work for you within the context of what I've showed you here on the stripe show. Yeah, look at that. I just clipped that perfect medium trajectory, little bit of spin. So I like that shot too.
Yeah. So you give out a lot of tips to people.
Yep.
You know, what's the best golf tip that you ever received?
Whew, boy, you know, that's a tough question. And, you know, I've learned so much for so many teachers, right, and players. But you know one that really kind of sticks with me? I took this one from Craig Shankland, right down here in Daytona Beach, one of the top teachers in the game. And one time we were doing an event, we were working on pitch shots. Go ahead and square up with me here, Tom. And one of the things that he did is he took it and he made his turn, hinged it at the right shoulder like this. See this? And then took his hands and he turned left, and the hands were the same over here. Mirror image. Right shoulder, left shoulder. And you can see I'm just turning to get my hands to go from here to here. I thought that was brilliant and a great image, and I've used that now for the last 17 years since I've learned that from him. But it really helped me too, right? Kind of match things up, educate my hands, and make me rotate through the shot. Look at this finish. Just like I was here to here. Now that was a pitch shot. That ball went about 90 yards. But that's a good tip to kind of frame things in wedge play. All right, 3 shots, right? A little chip, little swivel hinge type shot, pitch shot. Want to give it a go before we close the show?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Have fun.